John Candy Month continues with the sci-fi parody Spaceballs, co-written and directed by Mel Brooks, the guy who perfected the spoof genre. Yeah, here's a guy who knows how to do a parody with style. I'm sure you've seen Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. Unlike spoof films today, like Date Movie, Disaster Movie, Epic Movie, and Meet the Spartans. I never saw those films. Unfortunately, I did see Vampires Suck. I guess you know where I'm going there. What's the story? The story's about the evil Dark Helmet, who played by Rick Moranis, commands the crew of the Spaceballs crew to kidnap Princess Vespa, played by Daphne Zuniga, so her father, King Roland, played by Dick Van Patten, can give us the combination to get air off his planet so they can collect it for themselves. And it's up to Lone Star, played by Bill Pullman, and his sidekick Barf, played by John Candy, who is a Mog, half man, half dog, his own best friend, to rescue Princess Vespa and save planet Druidia from the evil Spaceballs. How will this all play out? Well, if you enjoy the insanity of the comedy, you know what you're going to get here. I actually do like this film. It was a classic, well, it was a classic parody done with, like I said, done with style and interesting. I like how self-aware the movie is, that it is a movie. I like Rick Moranis' performance as Dark Helmet. The fact that he was the exact opposite of what Darth Vader was. Darth Vader was big and intimidating. Rick Moranis is the exact opposite. he plays it pretty well. And here's an interesting bit of trivia that Rick Moranis suggested John Candy for the role of Barf, and John Candy was the first choice for Louis Tully in the movie Ghostbusters, but did not like the character's direction and ended up not being in the movie, and that role ended up going to Rick Moranis. John Candy later stated that was one of his biggest regrets, not being in Ghostbusters. John Candy does play his part pretty well, especially with the animatronic ears and the tail. I mean, I think the ears were controlled off camera by somebody, but John Candy, from what I heard, operated the tail. There was a button in one of his paws that made the tail move, and he plays pretty well with Bill Pullman, and all the rest of the cast do well too. Daphne Zuniga does a pretty good Princess Vespa, kind of spoofing Princess Leia, but in a way satirizing the damsel in distress, especially even with that gunshot scene where they accidentally hit her hair and then she goes full commando. That was a pretty funny scene. I like the character Dot. Basically like if C-3PO was a female robot. Yeah, Joan Rivers does the voice. It's kind of like Darth Vader, you know. She did the voice, but somebody else did the movement. That, you know, you're probably thinking Joan Rivers is Dot, but all she does is the voice, really. I really miss parodies like this. They actually knew when to be funny. I mean, this is like, out of all Mel Brooks films, this one had the most big special effects. It was his most big budgeted film out of all the films I've seen him do. Yeah, this is I think this is one of the better. This movie doesn't just take stab at Star Wars; it takes stab at other sci-fi elements too. Mel Brooks sent a script to George Lucas. George Lucas liked the script and suggested, if you look at the diner scene, the Millennium Falcon's parked in a parking lot with the Winnebago. So that was George Lucas's idea to suggest that, because Mel Brooks sent him the script and wanted to be sure wasn't offending him in any way. Wanted to be sure he was okay with the parody thing, and so George Lucas was pretty okay with it. From what I heard, John Candy wanted to have a whole mask to cover his face, but Mel Brooks said, no, we got to see little bits of your face. I give Spaceballs a 10 out of 10. Happy St. Patrick's Day!